Hello folks, this is John again, and today let's talk about the bass tone for our latest album, Revive. Probably the gnarliest bass tone I ever came up with. I quite like it, and let's just head right in. So let's listen to the section here first of all a little bit. Okay, let's listen to the bass itself. Alright, and here you can already hear I wasn't going for a very modern, bright bass tone, but for a very gnarly, mid-rangey, more rockish bass tone. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of stuff going on in here. You know what? Let's just bypass everything, and I'm going to walk you through everything step by step so you can see how I approached it. Let's start off with the bass high. So now we only have the DI going. Yeah, pretty straightforward. First things first, TH3. And here my tone consists of, first of all, a compressor going into the Ampeg bass amp, going into an Ampeg SVT2 impulse response from Rosen Digital. And that's what this sounds like. Already pretty crazy, and I do need this compressor beforehand because otherwise the signal isn't loud enough to really distort. And this compressor is already working pretty hard. As you can see, the drive is all the way down. This pretty much acts as your threshold. I think the ratio of this compressor is set to 3:1, but don't quote me on that. I'm not entirely sure. And then here are the amp settings. Ultra low is turned on, ultra high is not. Otherwise it just gets too sharp or too harsh in that pick attack. And then what's also important is here the EQ section. The mid frequencies is set to number 3. And then mid-range all the way up. That really gives you that gnarly mid-range around 800 Hz. Then treble also needs to go all the way up to get more distortion. But not too much bass so it doesn't get too muddy. And then the master knob is turned all the way up, so I again get enough distortion in there. And of course the gain knob also needs to be appropriately high. This amp model in TH3 somehow doesn't have just a level control knob to turn down the volume without changing anything about the distortion modeling. So I had to put the 7-band EQ afterwards to take down the level in here, because otherwise it just gets way too loud. And I can't really properly process this tone any further later on. So that is my my bass tone. Yeah, the basis for the bass tone. Okay, then afterwards, yeah, let's get to that in a little bit. First of all, the Pro EQ, just taking down some notches here. Alright, and when I first started taking care of the mix for this album, that was pretty much all I got, and then just a little bit of post EQ and low-end compression, and that was it. But as I got further down the line, I thought, nah, maybe I should try something different. So After TH3, I add this filter, just taking down everything below 200 Hertz. And then I would copy the I track. So it's here now, I have it twice. And here I filter everything above 200 Hertz. So on this track, I only have the clean low end. Let's check this out. And then this gets a lot of compression. This first compressor is taking care of peaks. Mostly. And then the second compressor is, well, just evening out all the rest of the dynamics. And this third compressor is sidechains with the kick drum. So every time the kick drum hits, only this low end channel gets ducked down, but this mid-range channel stays where it is. Alrighty, and both together then sound like this. I like to do it like this because now I have much more control on how much low end I want in the mix from the bass. So I just turn this one up or down, and I can control the mid-range, gnarliness up or down, however it's needed throughout the song. Then I can also automate stuff however it's needed. It's much easier than having to fiddle around with EQ and whatnot. And then lastly, on the mid-range channel, I have also compressor, just taking care of any peaks. And just general leveling. Yeah. And I also have a second higher range bass tone. Do we have? Yeah, in here we also have that going. So that's again just the I track. And this pretty much almost has the same tone as the main mid-range guitar, bass guitar track, except that it has much less distortion going on. So this is more of a clean tone, and then I also put a little bit of a chorus effect on there. And then also here again, this 200 Hertz cut, and some further EQing just to make it sound a bit nicer as well. And again, followed by compression and some notching here. Now I buzz everything together, and here I have some further processing going on. So this is just my basic tone for the bass, and now I have again the tape desk happening, and afterwards my EQ. So as you can see, I don't filter the low end in here because I already have this sidechain compression going on the low end. And for what I was going for in this album, this is pretty much enough for me. This already ducks it down about 4 to 6 dB. And that's plenty to make room for the kick drum down there. But whenever the kick drum doesn't hit, I still want to have that rich low end happening. So that's why I'm not filtering the bass. And then I'm rolling off some hi-hats so I don't have that harsh pick attack. And then taking down here that honky, boxy mid-range. And boosting 120 Hertz to make it sit in the mix a bit better along with the guitars and the kick drum. Alrighty, and then we have the VEQ. Here I'm boosting 820 Hertz. That adds a lot of that gnarly mid-range. And then here compressing the low end to make sure it's even. I ought to make a tutorial about the C4 and how you could approach using it, because I know there's a lot of misconception going on about the range button and how the compression line here works. But in any case, and then yeah, this delay is just here for this clean part. And then I also sent the bass to the small reverb, so this is just to give the bass this touch of depth. And then it also doesn't sound too dry. I could have also added a small reverb to the rhythm guitars just to make sure everything kind of has its space going on and everything sounds like it's recorded in a room. But on distorted rhythm guitars, it can easily become just too muddy. So I tend to not do that. And that's pretty much everything to the bass tone. As you can see, it's actually a straightforward procedure. You just have to build it step by step, and each step you need to know what you're doing, and it also actually has to fulfill some kind of purpose. Okay, and now that's it for this video, and I will see you next time.